What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are returning, and welcome to the new subscribers, new viewers. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell while you're at it so that you get notified every single time I upload a new video. Just wanted to chat about my Thailand expenses because a lot of you have been asking me how much I spent on the trip. So I'm just going to cover everything from flights all the way to how much I spent on food. I'm also going to cover the whole Thailand Pass requirements or the entry requirements for Thailand. Yeah guys, so let's just get straight into it. So the first thing that I'm going to cover is flights. So I got my flights through Kulula. Sorry, I'm just going to be looking at my phone, guys, because I have everything listed here on my phone. So anyways, I booked my flights through Kulula, flew Emirates because I'm part of the Discovery Vitality. So with Discovery Vitality, the more active you are, the more discount you get on flights, both domestic and international. So in my case, I had about 35% off international flights, so I just booked through Kulula. However, it would have been cheaper with Qatar Airways, but because I've booked through Kulula, I flew Emirates before, it was just easier for me to just book through them again. So I spent about 7,500, so that includes the 35% discount. So the flights were just over 10 grand, I think, or maybe more. But yeah, I just spent 7,500 on flights, so there was a return from Tambo. And then I had to pay for the quarantine hotel for 2 days. So on my first and fifth day, which is the requirements for visiting Thailand currently, so you have to quarantine for the first night you get there, and the fifth night you are in Thailand. So I spent 3,300 on the hotel, so that includes, so that's for 2 days. It includes a PCR test that you do on your first day upon arrival. It also includes an airport pickup on the first day when you arrive in Thailand. The next thing it includes is accommodation, obviously, for the first and fifth day, and food, breakfast, lunch and dinner for those days, and 2 PCR tests, one on the first day and one on the fifth day. So that's all it covers. Okay, cool. So that's hotels just for those 2 days, 3,300 rands. And then I also had to pay for Airbnb. So I paid for Airbnb in Phuket and in Bangkok. So for both Phuket and Bangkok, I paid 2,000 rands in total. I was in Phuket for 3 nights and in Bangkok for 2 nights because I spent 7 nights in Thailand, if I'm not mistaken. So all in all, for Airbnb for 5 nights, I'd say I spent 2,000 rands. So yeah, Airbnb is pretty cheap, and some people are asking why did I go for Airbnb instead of staying in a hotel. Hotels are generally a bit more expensive, especially if you're gonna be booking at especially if you're gonna be staying at a very nice hotel. For instance, Marriott, it's like 3,500 baht, which is about 1,700 rands per night. And at my Airbnb in Phuket, I paid 400 rands a night, and it was a pretty decent Airbnb. It had a pool, which was empty most of the time. It also had a gym, which was completely empty. And yeah, and there were a lot of restaurants around. It was very central. So yeah guys, Airbnb over hotels anytime. Okay, cool. So the next thing I spent on was return flights from Bangkok to Phuket. So I flew to Phuket on my second day from Bangkok, so I paid 1,200 baht for the single trip, which is about 600 rands. Because I didn't select the luggage, I didn't add luggage to my ticket when I was making the booking, I had to pay another 1,200 baht when I got to the airport. So in total I ended up paying 2,400 baht, which is about 1,200 rands just for that one trip going, and I paid the same amount coming back to Bangkok as well. And the reason I had to go back to Bangkok is because that's where my quarantine hotel was. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, so just a tip: if you're going to be booking flights from Phuket to Bangkok or from Bangkok to Phuket, just make sure that you, whichever airline you book with, make sure that you add luggage, because in most Southeast Asian flights or airlines, they generally just give you 7 kilograms of luggage to carry in with you, and you have to pay for extra luggage. So just keep that in mind. And the website that I use to book is 12go.com. I think I'll just link it in the description for you guys if you're interested in checking that out. Yeah. Oh, and if you're gonna be booking flights within Thailand, just make sure that you book those flights before you get to Thailand, because I had an issue where I couldn't verify, I couldn't validate my payment because they sent an SMS on my South African number and I wasn't roaming at the time, so I couldn't really book. So I literally had to go to the agent to make the booking there physically, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to make that payment. They have a couple of payment methods available. I think they have Google Pay. What's the second one that they have? Or they have PayPal as well, and the normal Visa, whatever, MasterCard payment, EFT, whatever, right? Okay, cool. So that's that. And then the next thing was, the next big thing that I spent on was just cabs, just from the airport to the hotel. Well, from the airport to the hotel on my first day, that was covered in the quarantine hotel cost. But from my hotel to the airport again, I had to pay about 500 baht, and when I landed in Phuket, I also had to pay another 500 baht to my Airbnb, and from my Airbnb to the airport I had to pay another 500. So all in all I ended up paying about 2,000 baht, just like moving around, moving between airports and Airbnbs and hotels. So that's about 1,000 rands. Yeah. And then in Phuket I rented a scooter that was 150 rands or 300 baht a day, so it's like approximately 150 rands a day. So I only got that for 2 days, and with that I had to pay a deposit of 1,500 rands or 3,000 baht. So yeah, if you're gonna be getting a scooter in anywhere in Southeast Asia, just make sure that you get insurance, because I got into an accident and I had to pay for everything. I literally had to pay about 7,000 rands just so that they could fix the scooter, because like I crashed the scooter. It was really bad. So yeah, that's just something that you need to like keep note of. Yeah, like just get insurance no matter how long you've been riding for, because accidents happen, and yeah, accidents are accidents. So just make sure that you get insurance, otherwise you might need to pay, you know, should you get into an accident, because your travel insurance doesn't cover. The travel insurance you get in South Africa won't necessarily cover accidents in wherever you're going. So just make sure that you get insurance that will pay upfront should anything happen while you are visiting Thailand in this particular case. Okay, cool. So that's that. So yeah, I just said like unexpected expenses, just try and put money aside, maybe let's say like 10 to 15,000 rands on the side, just in case you find yourself in a situation where you need to pay, whether it's booking flights or paying for whatever the case may be. In my case, I got into an accident, into a scooter accident, so I had to pay the owners to fix their scooter, and I was in the wrong, so there wasn't even like room for me to negotiate, because it was literally a few hours before I was meant to leave Bangkok. But I'll just maybe tell that story some other time. It was crazy. Okay, cool. So Another big thing that I spent on was the island tour, which was 1,800 baht or 900 rands. So that covers food, boat ride, drinks like refreshments and things like that, and water. So yeah, that's that. But when you get to some of the islands, if you want to do extra things, if you want to like rent a jet ski for instance, you're going to have to pay out of your pocket for that. And if you want to buy other things, like if you want to buy alcohol at some of the islands, you're going to have to pay for that yourself. So in my case, I spent about 500 rands renting a jet ski, so that was pretty affordable as well. Yeah, so what else? I would also say, yeah, like most of the things are really cheap. Like the one thing you should do when you get to Bangkok, the first thing you need to do when you land at the airport, get yourself a SIM card, which will be like 100 rands for a week. I paid 100 rands, unlimited data, unlimited calls for that 1 week. And then the second thing you need to do is withdraw cash. So just try and withdraw about 10,000 baht, which is like equivalent to 5,000 rands. So that should cover you for most things that are gonna need cash. So yeah, apart from that, you'll just use your card when you go to restaurants and things like that, where they do like 7-Elevens and things like that. But most things are gonna need cash. So just try and withdraw like 10,000 baht and maybe like carry 2,000 to 3,000 baht every day, for a few places where they might not accept card payments. And if you use like an Apple device, you could also just activate your Apple Pay, because personally I didn't like moving around with my passport or my cards just in case I lost them. So I would use Apple Pay in most stores that accepted card payments. Yeah, just try and withdraw that 10,000 baht like the moment you arrive, because every single time you withdraw, you're gonna incur costs, like withdrawal costs of, I don't know, I think it was like 100 rands or 200 rands every single time I withdrew, and I withdrew quite a few times. So those costs went up to probably like 1,000 rands. So yeah guys, so yeah, that's about it. And like food in general, I didn't spend much on food because I would eat at night markets. I spent about 1,000 rands in total, I'd say, on food. Maybe even less, because food is really cheap, especially if you're gonna be eating out at night markets. So yeah, that's that guys. Oh yeah, one thing you shouldn't forget if you're gonna be staying in Thailand for more than 7 days, remember to do your PCR test before you go to 72 hours before you go to the airport. At most 72 hours before you go to the airport, because if your COVID results, if your PCR test is older than 72 hours, they won't let you board the flight, and you're gonna have to go back, test, and wait another day and book another flight, which can be a waste of money. So that almost happened to me, but in my case, the issue was that the hospital had the dates or the times messed up on the test results. So we just needed to call the hospital and they sorted it out. But if you're going to be staying for more than 7 days, just make sure that you do a PCR test, because you need that in order to get into the plane. Yeah, I think I've covered almost everything. If there's anything that I've left out, I'll just put it in the description. Let me just get straight into okay, so the total amount here, I think I spent about 26,000 rands, like all in all, including the 7,000 I had to pay for the scooter. Yeah, apart from that, yeah, that's it. Oh, also, so the outlets in Thailand are the 2 pins. So like your normal 2-pin, like for your phone charger and things, that will work, but the 3 pins won't work. So just make sure that you get an adapter for that if you can, or just don't bring your 3-pin chargers. Yeah, so another thing that you might need to have or get before you travel anywhere is maybe like a small first aid kit, just in case you get injured. You can just sort yourself out quickly. Yeah, that comes in handy. In my case, I needed that, and it came in handy. Okay, cool. So that's about it, guys. So I'm just gonna tell you guys what the entry requirements are for Thailand right now. You need to apply for a Thailand Pass, which is a QR code that you get once everything has been approved. So that gets emailed to you, and you can show it before you even board the flights in Oritambo or wherever you'll be flying from. So the requirements for that, you need to have booked your return flights. Make sure that you've booked your return flights, because when you get to the airport they'll ask you for the return flight, and if you don't have the return you'll have to book on the spot. Same goes with the the accommodation. Just make sure that you have booked at least one day after you arrive in Thailand, 1 day after your quarantine. They'll need to see where you'll be staying after your quarantine, so you can just book 1 day after, well, 1 day's accommodation after your quarantine. Okay, cool. Let me just talk about the Thailand Pass application requirements. So you're gonna need your return flights, you're gonna need travel insurance that covers at least $50,000 medical expenses, including COVID-19, should anything happen, should you need to go to hospital for COVID-19 related reasons. You need to be fully vaccinated, and you need to have proof of vaccination. Just make sure you download that certificate, because they are going to need that certificate when you are applying online. You need to have proof of hotel reservations plus the PCR test, so that usually goes in the package. I'll just put, well, on the Thailand Pass application website, you'll actually see a list of hotels that are accredited by the Thai government to say, okay, so this is where you can book your accommodation for quarantine. So most of those places will have packages where, you know, so the packages will include accommodation, food, hotel pickup, and the 2 PCR tests that are mandatory. Yeah, apart from that, yeah, you also need a valid passport. It should be valid for at least 6 months prior to you getting to the destination, in this case, which is Thailand. So yeah, apart from that, guys, that's about it. It's about to get dark. Well, it's already dark, so I'm just going to end this video here. If there's anything that I've missed, I'll probably just add it in the description, or just upload another follow-up video just to clarify those things. Yeah, apart from that, that's about it. I hope this video was helpful, and if you did find it useful, please give this video a thumbs up. Yeah, and comment if you have any questions, and I'll address those in the comment section. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.